What came up this morning about was to get your opinion about something. I was talking to our oil man last week, and he said it's going to cost us 10 cents, 10 to 1 cents per gallon all oil. And they've also got a fuel surcharge on it. Now last year we hauled 43 of our own. We hauled 62 total gallons, or 62 total loads. Yeah, we hauled pulling it out of the city. But we hauled 43 of them, but we're not going to be able to haul that many this year because the oil people, when we mixed last year, the guy was not in any hurry. Well, this year the contractor, the mixing people assure me that they're going to be in a bigger hurry than that, so there's no way with one truck that we can keep up with it. So I guess what I was wondering is if we wanted to look at the possibility of buying a truck and a trailer or not. I mean, I'm asking. I'm not.
You're saying 10.2 additional?
Yeah, and that's what the per gallon. That's for them to deliver. See, that's what
from Dodge City.
From Dodge City.
10.2 cents a gallon.
Plus
that's
the
how much
fuel
a
surcharge.
And then plus the fuel surcharge. If the fuel goes up any more than what it is right now,
it's per gallon or per barrel?
Per gallon.
Yeah.
We buy oil by the gallon, not the barrel.
What's that big road oil cost us?
Well, if we had to deliver it for our mixing oil, it would be $2.15. Sealing oil would be $2.96, something like that.
Long ways from 10 to 15 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
You see, my memory doesn't have.
If we haul half of it, we got to buy the other half compared to what we bought last year. Then it should be comparable. In fact, it'll be just a little bit more because we're making that little bit of extra mix out here for that Mill Road and York Spur Road. They would amount to about $20,000, $19,307.
How many gallons do we haul on the load? 6?
Little over 6. Ours hauls, we can haul probably 62 to 63 with our trucks because they're a day cab. You know, you don't have heavy. You know, it's not got a sleeper on it, and the trailer we got is an aluminum trailer.
So they're charging you how much a load then? You said how much?
I was trying to figure out a load.
It runs about $615 to $20
per load.
Mm-hmm.
To go less than 100 miles. They're just flat taking advantage of the situation.
Well, I mean, freight in here is, yeah.
$3 to $4 a running mile is, it's just
well,
all it takes. I mean,
that's what it is, and you're not, I mean, and you get in the wrong part of the year, and it's hard to get trucks.
Are you talking about sealing oil?
Sealing oil, and then when we go.
Do they charge you if you're setting to if they come out?
If you go over hour and a half load, and very seldom do we, I don't know that we've ever been charged anything there. If it is, it's been a long time ago, because we can usually get a truck off in an hour.
The bigger distributor and everything now.
Mm-hmm.
That's good work.
Yeah. Yeah, when you used to have a smaller distributor, it used to push you to get it off in that hour and a half.
and how far is it to Dodge? Probably 80 miles?
70 miles?
Nah, about 80, 85 at the most. Yeah.
So it's going to actually cost you out of the pocket probably what, $2 a mile to run.
It costs us probably. It's going to cost us over $20,000 for somebody else to haul some more. I mean, to haul us oil.
Well, no, but if we were doing it ourselves.
Well, that's what I'm asking. If we want to, I looked on the internet, and there's a place in Wichita that has a trailer for about $15,000, and I figured we could get into a truck between $20,000 and $30,000, and then eventually go into. And if we did go this way, eventually go into buying in dumps where we'd haul some material from back east, like Martin Marietta or Marion. Because the last few years, we paid Wallstein, the guy that's been hauling our chips in for our mix. In 2008, we paid him $103,000 hauling So far in 2011, we're gonna pay them about 40,000. 2009, it was 68 and a half. And last year, it was only 35, just because we'd already hauled chips for the year before.
Well, what if we owned a trailer? It looks, I would bet you could find some.
That's what I'm saying, if we went this route, we'd eventually start looking for, end dump trailers where we can cut some of that expense
So
out.
if we have two rigs, you could actually haul, so
Yes.
have to get trailers for that, right?
But if we just bought a trailer now, I bet you could contract somebody with a semi to do your hauling for you.
The only part about that, I don't know about the legalities, and you'd have to ask Joe about
If
it.
if he's a commercial hauler, you can.
Well, where it's our trailer, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know either, but, there's a lot of people around here with trucks, and a lot of times they're looking for some work, especially this time of year.
Depends on whether they got tanker,
But they don't have a
tanker
trailer,
endorsement, and whether they,
Yeah, you run into all kinds of
Yes, you
hazmat
do.
and,
Well, no, this doesn't
This
require
one?
hazmat to haul this oil,
well, then it shouldn't be that difficult.
but you do have to
But
have
I'm
your
not-
tanker endorsement, and then it depends on what kind of insurance. It's just a big,
It always is.
oh yeah. So I guess what I'm asking is this something we want to pursue, or do we just want to drop it and?
I think it's worth looking at, but my experience is like when the co-ops think they own a truck fleet, they usually end up thinking that they made a mistake.
Well, we own trucks irregardless, so
Right.
this is not.
But you've been hauling some out yourself.
Yes, we've been hauling some out ourselves.
And what you're talking about is a second truck and a trailer and eventually some end dumps as well. So you last your trucks all year.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? End dumps are pretty expensive, it looks to me. That one at bookstore brought $26,000 or $29,000, something like that.
No, you can find, yeah, well, it depends.
I mean, I had no idea what it was worth, I was really curious.
Yeah, that's a little steep in my book, but I didn't know he had any done. Of course, that little old truck that he bought on sealed bid from us sure brought a better price out there at that auction than it did when he bought it from us.
So that's nice to know. That didn't help tell me that, but what'd you sell it for? Now you're wanting to buy another
Well,
truck?
that's a couple of years ago. Took it on sealed bid, and really we stick with when we got that.
And the farmers aren't that bright. So.
Yeah, it depends on the auction sometimes, but you can break more.
You never know. You just never know.
So I guess I was wondering if we want to pursue this, we just want to let it drop, or I'm asking you your thoughts.
What are you looking at in the truck?
Oh, it'd be a used truck about something like what we got. But what we got is an international, it's an 01, 02 international with 400 and some thousand miles on it.
Probably 20 to 30.
And so, yeah, and looking on the internet, trucks around that range will run $20,000 to $30,000. I think we could probably find a pretty decent truck.
It might get cheaper if the price of diesel keeps going up. Back up or hard, that's when they all kind of look for jobs, whenever diesel goes so high. That's probably the reason they're charging.
And so if we had two trucks, would we still have to contract to get the oil here for them? to make?
It would have, the only way we'd have to have somebody else haul it was if we have a truck breakdown, or if,
But you keep up with if you're sealing the two.
yeah.
Is there other places you can buy sealing? If you have a truck, can you be competitive somewhere else?
No, they bottom all out.
That's
They got
That's
them
pretty
all.
much
You
it.
can't go anywhere. Oklahoma City's the next place, isn't it?
Yeah.
You said Dodge City.
What about just using tank bottoms?
That won't hold the aggregate. It'll probably cause lots of accidents. And I'm pretty sure the environmental people won't like it. Well, I'm real sure of it.
Well, it's pretty
So you anticipate your transportation charges this year would be how much?
At least $20,000. Let me see.
And that's with the increase? And you don't know what the fuel charge is?
Yeah, it's gonna be at least 20,000, and it'll probably be more than that because I didn't figure in the other additional mix that we're making for the Yorkspur and the Neola Road. So that it's gonna be low 20s.
I don't suppose you have money in your budget for this, do you?
I don't know what I've got in equipment on for sure.
So how would we pay for it if we did something?
Well, there's, I mean, we probably have enough in there to do a lease purchase or something on it.
I would say get some prices, not commit ourselves.
Yeah.
Just have an idea of what you say the figures and just, get some ideas about, not just ideas, but you got some figures, this is what this is gonna cost, that cost, but not ideas now. Just decide from there maybe if it's gonna be worth it or not.
Yeah.
Because I
Might
doubt
find
if it'll
something
be,
cheaper.
I doubt if it'll be less next year.
No, and like I said, this is not gonna be just a one-year savings. I mean, it's a, that's why I'm asking. Instead of just coming up here and just saying.
Of course, it's gonna cost you something to go out there and get it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was saying.
The insurance isn't too big on those two items. It's
No,
less than $1,000 for the truck and the trailer. I knew that. So then we got fuel and some other expenses, but it's still.
And you don't figure you're paying labor because you're paying them anyhow. We're not gonna come in here and say, now we need to hire another guy because
No.
there's trucks on the road all the time.
No. No.
So in that regard, it's a savings, or at least it's.
I mean,
Better
it's
utilization
gonna
of
take
what we have.
everybody we've got to seal, that's, but that's not it, but we can stand it, taking one, moving a guy to a tank, to a semi, to haul oil is not gonna make us have to hire somebody else to do it part-time.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, that's what I thought you were asking, I wouldn't get the spit out too well. Maybe you don't.
No, I understand. If you have that big end up, then you can drive around and clean up the city on city cleanup.
Cruising for crap week.
We can really utilize the
They're already
service.
piling it out there.
That's from there.
You could drive that up.
You see over by the co-op? Oh, west of the co-op? Looks like they completely empty two houses up.
Seriously?
Okay, well, I'll get some prices.
Yeah, I get some figures.
I'll come up with
And
some.
when's the due date on this delivery of material?
The due date on.
When are you gonna start mixing these?
He's probably gonna start mixing in May sometime. He's going to. Middle of May, I hope. Because we don't have very much mix right now. So, yeah, it's something we're gonna have to do.
When you gonna grind the road up?
I told him, I talked to Jay last week and he didn't get back to me, tell me for sure when we could have a machine, but I tentatively set it up for the last week in April, the first week in May.
We're getting it from Cat.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. I only have a couple things. First thing, we actually had one of our ambulances where we've had some injector problems, but it's in the shop. But we had another one that's in the shop. We took a transfer to Wichita and the brake vacuum pump froze up. But we were luckily just right by Haven, and so we coasted in there and started smelling rubber. But actually lost our power brakes when we dropped the patient on in the Wichita, and then started smelling rubber around Haven. So we pulled in there and took it over to the dealership, and they put it inside and gonna do the work, hopefully today.
Is that on the new one?
No, that's both of those. The one that's having the injector problems is the one prior to the new one, and then this other one is the oldest one. So that's that. Resolution? Spoke with Joe about the resolution on the item A tolling funds, and he was fine with the way it read in the expenditure.
We're up to 7 already, and it's just March.
So as I described before, the funds that you used for the 2 bays out there in the existing building, that would convert that into emergency operations center / training meeting room for that station there. Both fire and EMS would meet in there. They would use it for storms and to take some.
The command center.
Gonna be tornado proof?
More tornado proof probably than some buildings, but certainly not. With the concrete block, you know, it'll withstand a pretty good force, and but certainly not to make tornado proof. It'd have to be below ground to be.
I guess we already approved this, I guess, so adopt resolution 11R7, resolution to expand funds established by resolution 7R16.
Is that a motion? I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
And then the only other thing, I'll be gone tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday to the emergency management training in Wichita. It's a mandatory disaster exercise program that emergency managers have to take if you want to stay in line with emergency management performance grants. And that's in Wichita. And that is all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You too. I'll bring mine Friday.
Okay.
Darren, what do you got? Troubles?
I've got, we've got to have a restrictive covenant for the landfill. We've been through this with Joe, and he says that we don't need it. We don't need an easement for it, you know. But I talked to Tony Maloney, he's with Terracon Friday, he called me. And he said, bottom line is KDHE will not approve your permit or let you continue unless you have it. So, therefore, somebody's got to butt heads with you, I guess. Me. Okay.
You
You mean we haven't had this all this time now, decide on what's we need something?
No, we've had one.
We've had one,
in
but
place
supposedly
of
we need
96.
another one, or a new one,
A new one.
A new one.
So they said they would need, Terracon said they need a new one now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Joe says we don't.
Right here's a copy of restricted covenant we had in place in January of 1996.
So it has to be updated, or?
Yes,
What's the updates? What do they contain, the updates? What's
well, see,
specifics?
after we have to update the restrictive covenant, we have to update the deed.
You can't update a deed. A deed is a deed, correct, JD?
Absolutely. You file a deed, that's there.
Well, and the guy,
The deed is ownership.
the original guy that deeded you the land is dead, isn't he?
I would suppose I don't know.
Is that Kelly, whatever his
Oh, yeah,
name was?
yeah, but the
I
deed's
don't know
a
how you
deed.
update a deed.
Is the deed truly recorded and on file, whether we get a deed?
I've got a copy of the deed, I've got a copy of
Now
the
you have to take the
restrictive
deed.
covenant.
I don't know. That's what Joe said,
What
so.
exactly is a covenant?
It's a legal document saying that
Strictly what you do.
the land is a landfill and it can never be used for anything other than, and if you ever sell it, that document
So we
It
have
says you have
that
to
in place.
notify anybody that if you ever get rid of land,
Well,
they
I'm really.
You have to tell them if you're building on landfill, so out there, like you said, it's just less trip all fell in the ocean.
When we have an earthquake and it collapses.
It all falls into the ocean.
Right, yeah.
Well,
But we have that. We have a deed, a deed's a deed. We have a covenant, sounds like a covenant's a covenant.
Well, that's what JD, or Joe said, that
Yeah.
everything is in place. He doesn't understand why it needs to all be updated, and how do you update a deed?
yeah. And also, your
I
certificate
would
of
tend to
title.
agree with Joe.
So- Does the county deed it to the county?
Well, now, he told me that also the certificate of title, which was a copy of it in here, needs updated to match the new legal description. Because of the recent survey that we've had done, I mean, they're done with all the survey work. And I guess this is the first time ever there's been a boundary survey. Like I said, you know, there was kind of a conflict between the south edge of the property line. I do believe we're within 5 feet of not having waste on the property, but with the certificate of title needs updated so it matches the new legal description.
I would suggest you have him contact our county attorney and let them
Let them
work this out
handle it
before we
out.
do anything on our end. Make sure it's what they, as he's in agreement and they're in agreement, and he explain our side and explain their side, then he decide if we need to do anything.
Because Joe's gonna have to be the one to draw the document. He
Absolutely,
needs
so
to
I
know.
would think he needs to contact him, just get in contact
When
with
is best time to catch him?
him. Just get
Well,
his
that's.
cell phone or
Go
whatever.
talk to his secretary down there.
I'll do it when
So
I get
did
there.
the boundaries change after this new survey?
Well, the boundaries don't change, they're just what you'd say defined now. I mean, we have a for sure boundary line,
And that's on the deed?
yes.
You better have the boundaries right.
It doesn't
He
make any
covered
sense to me
Yeah,
at
I
all.
don't
But
I mean, digging a hole there has been a lot of loops to jump through. You know, and I think part
this
of
is
it,
all coming about because we're digging the hole, probably.
yes, because we're digging the hole, and in the past, when the permit manager was out there last year, you know, I mean, nothing has been done exactly to the letter at the landfill as far as correct buffers. We have no correct buffers from the ends of the pits or between the pits. I guess they're just, you know, they said they're getting more stringent on their regulations, and you have to follow them, and they're gonna make us jump through.
Well, I think it's probably just like the headline, I read the paper about the fire, the new fire chief went around the schools and stuff, said, did you read the article, they all had to change this, spend thousands of dollars there, and he was newly appointed, Joe, and that's where they find out that they're grandfathered in, so they don't have to do all this stuff. All the school districts got to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars if somebody new comes out there and says something different, so.
I did,
I think I'd check it a little more before we find out.
see, with Terracon, we're also, you know, I mean, we're rewriting our operating plan to go along with the new pit. And I did go ahead and get us permitted to go above grade. Because right now, after Maxwell's hauled me 5 buildings, it's full. So I daily have to go out there and keep cover on it just so we don't have such a blow problem. But, you know, I could go above grade. And later on in the future, at least we're permitted to do so if, you know, later in the future, the last new cell is full, and we are permitted to go ahead and go 10 foot above grade if need be. So at least that's an option, you know, I mean, once your hole's full, you can go above grade on top of your old cells to buy you some time to maybe move to another place or continue going above grade, so. And excuse me, the soil sample test I had done come back negative. The soil is not stable enough to run vertical walls.
Oh, it's not?
No, and so we have to go with a 2-to-1 slope. And I asked him, I said, well, why, you know, he told me, he says, well, what you can do, what we'll allow you to do is as you start filling from bottom up, go ahead and remove that 2-to-1 slope and fill it with waste as you fill. I said, why didn't I just do that in the beginning? I said, well, because the extended amount of time that you will have that hole open as to whether you can run vertical. If your soil was stable enough, where you have an erosion problem, you could have went ahead and done it from the get-go, but otherwise,
Makes a little sense.
I take out the slope, replace it with waste, you know, you still end up gaining you know, some of your land. But the boundary surveys, the new pit is flagged and marked out. Just waiting on the rest of these red tape cut through.
How long,
And
what do you anticipate, how long before we start digging or?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I would like to do it as soon as possible, but he said be about next week he'll give me a more defined, or more accurate drawing and calculation of number of yards per. See, with the test drills they drilled out there for the soil stability test on the very west end, they hit water at 17 feet, which that end of the property is pretty low. But that hole will only be about 10 foot deep because you got to stay 5 feet above water level. And at the other end, it'll be 15 foot deep. Basically, you're looking about 550 feet long. It'll be 170 feet wide at the west end. It'll to stay off the railroad right away. It'll taper down to about 70 feet at the east end. That'd be a pretty good size hole, but 10 foot's to keep.
So you said 150 to 70 feet?
170 to
170?
Yeah, about 170, and it'll taper down to about 70 feet on the east end.
And that portion can be 15 feet deep? Or
Down at the east end, it'll be about approximately 15 foot deep. Yeah. So right here's the overall.
that's a lot of dirt.
Right here's the overall shape of it.
It's,
Right here. This is a west end. That'd be about 170 feet wide, 550 feet long. As you see, here's a railroad. And right over west end is far right away.
This is using all of our available space.
All of our available space open, what we have left up. They recommended that maybe you dig it in 3 parts. Somebody really didn't want to do that. If you got the equipment out there, let's open it up and get it open.
where we store the dirt.
Well, what I'm going to do is use some of the dirt to fill in the C&D cell that I'm in now. Finish filling that, build a berm around it, and I want to build a berm around the new pit tall enough to, keep stormwater from running in, and also I can just, as I need cover,
Push it back in.
push it back in. And what you have left is stockpile.
Do you have any low spots out there you need to fill in on some of the other, or no?
Yeah.
If it settles, then you put some fills in too.
Yeah.
So this over here is an existing old fill, or is this?
Yeah, this is the south end here, the trees. Tree belt from here to here are all MSW cells. There's no cells through here. And then from here is MSW till you get this one right here. That's a C&D, and this is the one I'm in now. And this will be the new one. Clear as mud, all that
No,
stuff.
no.
But you don't have any idea of a timeline? I mean, I'm real roughly, I'm just curious.
Well, hopefully within a month.
We'll start digging with him.
I hope.
Have we got bids?
Well, I can't get a permanent bid until I know
Exactly what we got.
exactly what cubic yards it was.
Okay.
I've had 4 bids per yard, basically.
Oh, I see.
Sure. But to get more of an accurate, closer to the dime, I didn't know exactly how many cubic yards. And I just found out last week that 10 feet is supposed to be 90.
I'm just concerned that, just like everybody else, we're gonna raise the prices, and the more we delay this, the more it's gonna cost us. It'd be nice to get it locked in before diesel hits $5 a gallon, if that's possible.
Possible gas could be that. All right, I will talk to Joe and see if we can get him to talk to us.
Well, I'm certainly not an expert, I wouldn't.
No, I think it.
Well, it gets, I mean, to me, you know, some of the legal jargon, it's confusing to me. I mean, there are some things here that existed I didn't even know.
So I think the best, you just have him talk to them directly with it and then work it out between them, and then if we need something, go ahead and modify it or else leave it alone. All right.
Make your coffee tomorrow.
It's a lot of
Darren,
stuff to just make a hole in there.
do you have anybody in mind to help you out when you have to be gone and no one from the road and bridge can help you?
No. I mean, I've always just used one of the guys down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that instance about, you know, going to Dodge City that day and they were busy and you had to go somewhere
Yeah.
or you had to keep the place open.
You did have a retired person come out there part of the time, did you? That
Yeah, I had George Caston come out one
he's
time.
not interested anymore then?
Well, I haven't checked with him.
If you had something like it,
I mean, are we looking at getting maybe somebody from outside?
I mean, just as, you know, as a backup. in case-
That way he can plan what he's got going on down there and not be,
Sure.
if they got something planned, it'd just be nice to have a backup out there then.
Yeah, I will check with George.
All righty, well, good luck.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Anything at the moment?
I need a yes or no on the rodeo request that Brent was in about
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. And also, are you gonna do the bags for the state fair again? Brent Walters, who printed them, was in the other day, wanted to know. So, last year they cost us $5,500.
I would say probably not. And
No on the bag?
no on the bags.
Okay.
I think, we just, that really is the committee's,
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I told
Yeah.
him, but I
does
told
he
him.
gotta
all
know
this.
right now?
He's gotta get them ordered, and it takes him a while to print all that.
I'm sure.
They're having a wedding this summer, and da-da-da-da.
Well, the rodeo, I agree, we probably have to make a decision on bags. It's really, really something they need to do, work on, figure out. That's my opinion.
What'd you say? About what?
I said, you know, listen
Yeah, I'm
to
not sure for a second. I mean, what did you say? Said rodeo what now?
I think, obviously, we gotta make a decision on it, but the bags are something I really would like for the economic development
Okay.
to do, whatever they wanna do. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have ideas and they're gonna, I just don't wanna take that out of their hands.
And the rodeo should fall under them as well.
It does, I agree, but he's pushing, make a
Debbie,
decision.
let's see, has this, anyone, has Carolyn brought this up to the committee or discussed with them
I
or
have no
anything?
idea.
We need to, she's gonna be in this morning, we need to find out from,
I bet they haven't even looked at it, because, you know, they just don't feel like they have any power yet. And I don't quite understand why that's so critical to him. I mean,
Because he told me if he doesn't get help from the county, he's probably gonna cancel it.
But they made a profit last year, so
I'm just telling you.
the
what-
county money shouldn't be that critical.
This is what I was told. So I told him I would ask you again.
Well, I'm really reluctant to say, okay, go ahead and do it, because I really think this falls under the responsibility of economic development. And if he can't wait another week or 2 or 3, then I'm sorry, but you know, we made the decision on the state fair, which understandably that has to be done real early. So I think, you know, we did the right thing there. But as far as the rest of the expenditures out of economic development, if we're going to have someone in place, then
Right. Or even have some input from the committee. I mean, if they, what they're feeling, you know, or something
Yeah.
like that from the committee themselves.
I don't know if the committee, does it meet on a monthly basis? Do you guys
I'm
know?
not sure what they set up.
We need to find out apparently what the input of the committee, because I know several of them on
Or maybe it
Fair.
should be in today, I don't know.
Well, I don't know why they couldn't make a decision now. I mean, they're in place with enough authority to go ahead and make that decision.
I mean, they could pass some input right now for what they could do.
yeah,
We just
still let them make the decision.
don't want to do it without them. And if he needs a decision, he just needs to get it go through them. Because they're in place. They're an acting board.
Yes, they are.
Okay. I'll tell him. You
Anything
got the
else?
letter that Joe sent to Ellie Dorn,
Yes.
so.
Ron?
I got something for you fellas. This week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, the Byways Marketing Committee, Internal Marketing Committee, is doing their whistle stop tour. Which is where we get everybody together, hopefully including public persona, and hit all 7 of the communities in the byways. So that everybody that is connected with it has an idea of what's going on in each of the cities. I'd like to invite you guys to join in that if you should have time. If nothing else, I know that you're doing a presentation on part of it on Wednesday morning. Wednesday at 11 o'clock, I'll be coming here to St. John. We're going to give them a extraordinarily quick tour of the Science Museum. The Hall Museum is going to open, and we're going to have a little tea and some sandwiches and give them a tour of the downtown area. But we'll only have them for an hour.
And you're gonna be starting where, meeting at where, start with?
Well, on
That's the
Wednesday
agenda.
is the Stafford Day, and we'll be starting over in Stafford at the bed and breakfast.
I mean, but when you're meeting here in this area then?
11 o'clock to 12 o'clock
11 o'clock on Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
Okay.
Here's the schedule on that one, Judy.
This is a 2-day event?
2-day event.
Yeah.
They got a, what, 40-some passenger bus that they're gonna load people up and
Fortunately or unfortunately, I'll be videotaping it, so
yeah.
So
if
you'll
you
be
don't,
there.
so if you don't get to go, I can give you the video.
And apparently the three Barton County commissioners are gonna ride with them on Tuesday in the towns that are in Barton County. That's my understanding.
That there's 5 commissioners.
But there's 3 that said they would go to help fill up the bus, I guess.
Are you gonna ride it through Stafford County?
No, I'll follow. Well, I don't want to get stranded in St. John. How am I going to?
Heaven forbid.
It's too far to walk. Can't get anybody down here to give me a ride.
Probably not.
Well, we could give you a ride, but you're in the wrong direction.
So, I guess this is the final phase of the internal
Yeah.
marketing.
Internal Marketing Committee final stuff. I hope we on the 29th are having the thing out at the Wetlands Education Center that I really truly would like to have all you guys at. Simply because that's when they're going to be passing out the marketing kits.
That was when?
On the 29th of April. And they're having the
29th of April?
of April.
At the visitor center?
at the Wetlands Education Center up outside of part of Cheyenne Bottom.
Lee, you talking? You gonna give a speech?
Yeah. After that, 45
What time does
seconds.
that start on the 20th?
I'll have to look, I believe it's at 6:30. It's gonna have a small meal as part of it. And then on the 1st of May, we're having that big birding festival this weekend. And on the 1st of May, we've got them, we're trying to bring them in after the birding festival into Stafford County. We're advertising the jazz festival, or the jazz get-together over at the place. We're going to try to put some people in St. John that way, and I think we're going to try to do some things with the folks at Hudson and Stafford as well. See about
There's lots of people come to that birding festival, and like, gosh,
Well,
it'll look great then.
there's a bunch of them, and they've got money. And they spend it, and then they go home. They're my kind of people.
They travel from all over.
Oh, yeah, international.
What do they do?
Till,
Look at birds.
and they identify them.
Is that Cheyenne Bottoms all the birds?
Cheyenne Bottoms and Quivira, they'll be on buses all day. We have apparently 330-something various species of birds that come through here, and some of them are extraordinarily rare. And people come to see them, and well, of course we've got whooping cranes, but there's some others apparently that are quite rare, and people travel great distances to do this stuff.
Did you bring your shotgun?
And take your camera. The only thing you shoot is your camera.
You bring the shotgun, I'll bring the dog.
The dog, there you go.
But I'd like to invite you guys to participate in that. At least there's some free food.
Thought it said lunch was on your own. That's the first thing I read.
It has been.
Well, but we're starting out over at Stafford at the bed and breakfast, and then we're going to Wheatland for cinnamon rolls, and then we're coming over here for tea and sandwiches. If you need more to eat after that, yes, you're on your own.
Sounds all very nutritious too.
They're gonna make you walk from the flour mill to the Wheatland for cinnamon rolls. So you're getting a little exercise before your cinnamon rolls.
You doing this week?
It'll be raining and snowing.
Supposed to be all week, weather's supposed to be bad.
Not all week. After Wednesday, it's going to get nice.
80 degrees by Thursday, Friday or Saturday.
Saturday, Saturday.
I was just thinking Pat's coming, but she's not gonna be here till like Friday. This would be perfect for her to go.
They're gonna be touring the courthouse.
So recess. Yeah, we had
This is the update of last week. There's one area in particular that I'd like to discuss with you and ask your consideration to sign on to a joint letter. The Kansas State Board of Pharmacy is currently considering a policy to allow telepharmacies to operate in Kansas. And this would mean that a parent pharmacy could set up a branch pharmacy where the pharmacist is resides at the parent pharmacy. The branch pharmacies have pharmacy technicians and could dispense prescriptions. I think this is, without a doubt, the most realistic way that Stafford County could have a pharmacy in the county. They've been working on this policy since 2003, and I think it's been considered uncontroversial. There's other states that have telepharmacies and so forth. But kind of at the 11th hour, a senator in a strategic position kind of raised some concerns. I think she's kind of just She's just wanting to show that she's
She has a little
a
power.
little power.
Mhm.
So some political showing, because I think it's been the kind of issue that has kind of been not considered or controversial, and people haven't been lobbying for it or advocating for it. They haven't heard a lot of political noise on this.
Mhm.
If we would consider approaching them to just tell them that how this could be a benefit to our county and kind of make some political noise, I think that would give them some of the kind of the cover they need to go ahead and adopt the policy despite the one objection. I just talked with the executive director of the Board of Pharmacy this morning to tell her that I was going to approach you with this, and she welcomed the idea. So I've sent this out to the Economic Development Board, and I've only heard back from 3 of them, but they said, those 3 said they wanted to, so I think we'll have a majority of people on the Economic Development Board. I contacted the hospital, ended up talking with Janelle. She needs to kind of do some background work and talk with Rule, but this is my chance to talk with you this week,
Mhm.
so thank you. So,
I think this is an excellent idea. I can remember Frank worked real hard and studied real hard on what to do. And he came to the conclusion that we could do this, and then the next meeting, it was like, no, the state and or federal government will not allow it.
he and I talked about this briefly once too, and he indicated that he thought that that was really the only way we were going to get a pharmacy here.
The cost of establishing a pharmacy, just the base, it's at least a $500,000 investment just for basic prescriptions, and then that doesn't include buildings and all the other outlays.
So this is just be, actually, you're saying a branch of a major pharmacy that they branch out here, put something in?
Yeah, it wouldn't even have to be, quote unquote major pharmacy. It could be
I mean, a branch of a pharmacy.
any other pharmacy. It could be an independent pharmacy. It could be, I suppose, a branch of a big one. But anyway, the point is there's a parent pharmacy, they use that term in the regs, a parent pharmacy with a a pharmacist, and well, here's the regs. I mean, they're really short. It's only 2 pages, but it says, telepharmacy branch pharmacy means a pharmacy or other facility used for the storage and dispensing of prescription drugs that is dependent upon, stocked by, and supervised by a pharmacist in charge in another licensed Kansas retail pharmacy designated and approved by the board as the parent pharmacy.
So we can man it by someone who is not a pharmacist,
So you would have pharmacy technicians here.
which are half the cost of a pharmacist.
You'd have likely pharmacy technicians that would be doing the dispensing. They would have to consult with and that's the telepharmacy part of it. They'd have to consult with the pharmacist at the parent pharmacy.
And then they use a secure webcam to counsel the patient, be a 2-way. That's where the tele comes in. And with the new technology and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and he, I think in turn, there'd be a camera on the say the prescription case where they fill, where he could observe. And it's just a remote location.
Yeah.
And by law, they have to do patient counseling, and so it takes a licensed pharmacist to do that. They would have a separate area where the customer or patient would sit down, and these 2 cameras were on the pharmacist and the patient, and they do this interaction. And
They also explored doing something like this, only the prescriptions would come in the mail. We found out federal government and U.S. mail wouldn't have
no, you
anything
can't
to
do that. It has to be hand delivered.
So, yeah,
Well-
the idea of delivering drugs through the U.S. mail was just, it's too simple and easy, but also it's like, can be abused.
Well, when you're sick and you want a prescription, I mean, I suppose there's there's a place
Yeah.
for, the ones that you get recurring, but
Right.
you want one here when you're sick
Well,
and
yeah,
you
right.
want something.
You come down here to the
Take
clinic
care
or
of
to
it.
the hospital and you get a prescription and you want it filled. You don't want to have to drive to Hutch or Pratt or Great Bend to get it filled. We talked about it in detail and the feasibility of it. And the thing is that if the hospital's going to survive and healthcare in this county is going to survive, we need something like this. Otherwise,
So-
you might as well go to Pratt because you're going to end up going there anyhow, right? Or Great Bend or
Exactly.
Marner, Hutch. So in order for us to have healthcare here, I think this is critical. So yeah, what do we need to do?
Okay, well, I don't have technically a majority of the board yet from economic development. We don't have letterhead either. I think it'd be nice to put it on somebody's letterhead to make it look official. And maybe the hospitals, if they agree to sign on to this, would be the most. I
Do we
don't
have
know, or we-
letterhead?
Or we can do it
I
here.
think the commissioner's letterhead would be more influential than the hospital's.
Okay, well then that's
Don't
fine.
you? Or
I'll do
both? Or all of them?
that. I suppose I could do that and get your signature now. While you're here, someone's, and then,
He'll be back on Friday to sign a paycheck.
okay. That's an option too.
Some of them will.
Friday or Thursday?
Friday, April 1st.
Well, we can sign it now.
Well,
It's okay with me.
I don't have it printed on
It's not printed on
letterhead.
letterhead, and then I also don't have like rules.
And then you'll also have the time to check with these to make sure that they're on board with this, too, then,
Right.
I think probably wait till the end to sign.
Okay.
Okay. And what about getting our senator involved in local politicians?
I have contacted Senator Teichman by email and haven't heard back from her. So I know they're in budget stuff right now, and I picked up the phone. We probably have a chance to talk about this. Try to do it by email to begin with. But I think that would be helpful too,
Yeah.
because it's Senator Schmidt in the Senate that is causing the hiccup.
And she is a pharmacist.
You're right.
She is. Oh, boy. Might be taking money out of her pocket somehow.
And if you look at that board of pharmacy, there is only one person west of Manhattan, I think. And I don't think that they've heard enough about how this affects smaller communities.
It's tough, very tough.
So,
Well, get the ducks in a row and upon assignment.
okay.
I do have a question.
Mhm.
When does the board meet?
First Thursday of the month, so the 7th of April, I think, is our next.
We had a request for money to help with the rodeo, and we don't think it's our duty, and I think it'd be more up to the Economic Development Board to make that decision.
Okay.
I mean, yes, it is a good deal, and, but, we had to make the decision about the state fair because of the time.
Right.
And so,
So
We need-
I can put it on the agenda for that meeting. Is there?
yeah, I was in hopes you'd
But
meet
how
her.
soon is he's wanting to know right away, he said, right?
Said he needed to know right away.
Or I can communicate by email. with them.
We might do that and then get back to us and let's go for it.
Okay.
And it's $3,000.
3,000.
You said if we can't, they're going to have a rodeo, is that what it said?
That's what he
If
said.
he didn't get it, he would probably cancel it.
Yeah,
is what he
so
said.
something like that.
And the fair board has requested some assistance. So, and we just said, well, I don't, I think that
Looks
falls
like
under.
1,800 was it?
For the
They did it last
inflatable
year,
jumping
the
jays.
Wednesday thing, yeah.
One of the things that I've talked about, I don't know if I should be it's an idea at this stage, but it falls with the fair. And I've talked with one of the board members who likes the idea. Well, we have not talked about it as a full board, but doing some type of an entrepreneurial contest, and then maybe the fair would be a time that we could, do that. Have you ever seen the show Shark Tank? It's one of those reality shows where they do but anyway, they test business ideas. And I have a curriculum for a kids entrepreneurship camp. If we wanted to do that in June, we could set them up to be ready to do something at the fair, and maybe also have an adult version too. It might be something to do at the fair if we need to fill fair time as well. So, anyway.
But so the monies for these things we're talking about were coming out of economic development in the past, and we're just not comfortable at this point
Okay.
spending those monies. So, no, we're not trying to pass the buck, we just don't,
I appreciate that's exactly what we talked about.
we want, at the very least, your input to really feel like it's your decision. And then the bags too.
Oh, no, those are gonna go with that.
Are those
Whistles.
left over from last year?
Those
There's
are the
a-
whistle stops.
No, but whether you want to make new ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you already said no.
Well,
Well, it's once again up to
Yeah.
these guys.
What we discussed at our last meeting was doing some type of, we even talked about this at the retreat, developing Stafford County bucks of some sort, like chambers. And maybe there's a way to use those bucks at the fair booth to be able to track who's actually coming and who's actually coming here to spend money. And that the amount of money that we spent on bags would be what we would use to fund that concept at the state fair. Be a way to,
But we're leaving that decision up to them.
yeah. But we've already made the decision about the bags.
Oh, we have, okay. I don't know where I was at. I'm just saying. That we're not doing them?
Because here again, he wanted an answer in this week.
well then, hey, if you would like an answer next week.
The rodeo
yes,
guy's the only one that's really good. The fair people seem to understand that,
Yeah, they've known it for a while.
we're in a bit of a transition thing.
I'm sure they'd like to know.
I'm sure they would.
Last
too.
I'll survey it by email.
Okay?
Okay, great,
Well,
thank you.
I'm gonna just update you a little bit on what I've been talking about. I talked to Ernie Lehman, who's the president of Midwest Energy. I don't know if you had any communication with him.
I know who he is, but no, I'm not named.
All right, we're going to set up a meeting at some point here in the very near future, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm guessing, where they're gonna come down and talk to us, talk to the board and whoever else we invite about basically everything. We're gonna talk about transmission lines, about when are the possibilities for Stafford County, what possibilities do exist, at least in their mind, and things like that. So, he's communicating through the clerk's office,
Okay.
and I guess that's really all I can tell you. That's all I wanted you to be aware of. We get a meeting set up, we'll let you know.
Okay. That's good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? So it's Friday, huh? For some reason. I
Oh,
was
Pat's
thinking-
coming this week too, did you know that? And she's gonna be here Monday to review our website.
Monday, good, because Friday, I didn't think about it. Friday is like the one day I've got something scheduled all day long in the
I
near
think she's
future,
coming
so.
out Friday.
Yeah, she's gonna be here, maybe, who knows when Pat's gonna show up next. Could be tomorrow,
Okay.
but I'm thinking Friday.
Oh, we'll keep her entertained.
As far as signing checks, if I mean, not checks, but signing the letter. Now, if I have it here for you, then I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it worked out. Okay,
All right, thanks.
thanks.
Anything else? We're adjourned.